And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because, well, bitching people out and not having them even realize that they've been bitched out is annoying. So we're just going to go ahead and bitch everybody out because that's entertaining sometimes. Part of this is to follow through with the old adage, sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble all over the place. It's Shujin. Yes, I'm back from my vacation. I needed it, and it's one of those situations where I really didn't want to admit to myself that I needed some time off. Go fig. I know. I'm not 39 anymore. Whatever. Let me go ahead and introduce you to the highly truncated collection of hosts tonight because reasons. From out somewhere in the Midwest of the U.S. where, actually I didn't even ask, is it even snowing or raining or what the hell is it doing for you out there, Brigid?
It's raining really, really hard, and we have flash flood warnings, and it's supposed to continue raining hard for the next couple of days and get up in the mid 60s, and then we're supposed to have snow by the end of the week. So, yay. My
Ew.
sinuses love this.
Ew.
I know.
Some
Every
middle...
time we have swings like that, we get tornadoes, and my sinuses just scream.
Excuse me. Literal tornadoes?
Yeah.
In the middle of
Uh,
December? January?
Well, uh, yeah, I mean, it's not real frequent, but when the temperature gets up to 66 or 70, and then you have a really strong cold front come through, yeah.
That's great. By the way, for those of you that are watching live, yeah, I kind of forgot to put my hat on before we get started. So let me go ahead and do that because, these guys have got their red hats and, well, I got my blue one because, kids, cover your ears for the next 3 seconds. Fuck cancer. That's kind of going to be that's our one for tonight. Although we will
And
be...
and maggots suck.
Yeah, and we will be making reference to that line part of the time tonight. We've already
Yeah.
talked about it off air, and we'll touch on it in a little bit. As far as where everybody is at the moment, Dalan at the moment is he's not feeling real great, so he's kind of stepped off. I don't remember if UnrenownedTech was going to be busy tonight off the top of my head because I didn't really double check. So I don't know. Joey's been busy and sickly, but he's okay. So he probably isn't going to show, but I sent the thing over his way. And as far as Joseph is concerned, well, he's probably been busy and tired with everything that's been going on for him. So either that or he's on the run from the feds. So, in any case, we wish you well, man. For anybody that's wondering, this this is my good thermos. I was given this as a Christmas gift last year. Double insulated steel. This
Oh.
thing keeps stuff hot. Oh,
Speak of the devil.
speak of the devil.
Bonjour. Comment ça
Bonjour.
va?
Ça va, ça va.
That's good enough for me from Paris, France. Joseph, good morning. We were just talking about you.
Bienvenue.
Where is everybody? Are we live yet?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are, and it's just us.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, things have turned out to be a little bit on the weird side. So sorry. So it's all good. Anyway,
Oh,
so
that's a state. That's a state of permanence here.
that's true enough. So anyway, for those of you that are watching live, of course, thank you very much for being over here. Stephanie, glad that you got your pot of tea. Good on you. Felis, hi hun, good to see you. And Felis, if I had thought about it ahead of time, I would have actually brought over the wire brush that you could have seen. I bought a wire brush for, okay, when we were building this house, 15 plus years ago now, I got a big ass tool. I don't even want to call it a toolbox because it was bigger than a box, but it's a rechargeable tool set. So it's got two batteries, a charger, and let's see, a flashlight, a dustbuster type vacuum, a drill, a saw. So I haven't really had any use for all the stuff. So I have finally decided that I'm going to try to refurbish one of the cast iron pans that I've got, and I charged up one of the battery packs to see if it would hold a charge. It's apparently holding a charge. So I have an excuse to try to refurbish this pan. I've got one that's a pot. I've got one that's a pan. It's not really a pot. It's more like a wok. Why I got a cast iron wok, I don't remember. Because that doesn't really work that well.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
The joke of it is you don't use cast iron for a wok. You don't.
Yeah.
You use super thin metal. But be that as it may, it is what it is.
If you reseason it well, though, it'll probably go right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it does give you extra iron in your food, so that's a plus.
I don't know that there's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't want to have green blood.
No, you don't want green blood, but iron is not bad. I mean,
I know it's a Vulcan thing.
oh,
As an aside, by the way, you remember a couple of weeks ago that the last time I was on the show, and we did a little thing for Christopher Hitchens. I bought the little sampler of Johnny Walker Black, which I do every year. Well, at the same time, I saw the little baby Kraken on the shelf, and I figured, all right, for a change, I'll finally get it. This is kind of a nod to the whole Kerbal Space Program thing, because there's a long-running joke in it, even from the early access days, where they were like, yeah, if your spaceship spontaneously disassociates, yeah, that's the space Kraken. So it's the Kraken. So it's finally come to the matter of that I finally got the stuff to try out, because it's just been a long running joke.
well, it's spiced. I mean, I don't know how you would feel about spiced whiskey, but I like it,
Well, I'm not a
and I
heavy.
don't mix it with anything.
Yeah, well, I don't do heavy spirits, so the only times that I ever do is when we toast for Hitch. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting smell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way,
Yes, sir.
Brigid, I was following your advice a couple shows ago. I've been listening to those podcasts, and I also downloaded Christopher Hitchens. He narrates God's Not Dead. He reads it himself.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
excellent audiobook.
There's nothing better
Like it?
for sleeping. He has a great lullaby voice. I don't know if you call it that, lullaby voice, but anyways, if you want to listen to a podcast, if you want to nod off to sleep, well, he'll read you to sleep.
Your face, Shujin.
So, we end the show?
No,
Yeah.
we are live and everything. It's just this is interesting. This is not nearly as bitey as the Johnny Walker, which is kind of surprising. It's got a lot of heat in my belly, is the only way I can describe it. But it's not so bad in my mouth, which the Johnny Walker really bites in my face.
Mm.
Where would you get bottles that size?
At
They
the liquor
sell
store.
them at the store.
Yeah.
Usually near the checkout.
Yeah, the place that I
Wow.
go to, they've got just a wall of stuff, and some of them are like these. I don't know if this qualifies as 2 shots worth or whatever, but little sample sizes, and especially during the holiday season, they'll usually have a collection of sampler packages, like from Kahlua. We'll have a whole bunch of different tasting ones in like a 5-pack, and it's kind of cool for people that want to try some stuff and not really go too far into it. Cool,
And a lot of them you can buy for $1.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't know what you would mix that with. I've never have mixed it with anything. Now,
you
like
know what?
Captain Morgan's, I would mix with Coke.
You know what? Okay, I have tried it on its own now. It's would I necessarily have it on my own on its own?
Probably not.
Probably not. But you know what? I still have. I've still got about a third of a container of coffee, which in this case is actually more like a mocha. I'm willing to give it a shot, if you will, with the shot and a half of whatever that's left, just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what's the worst that can happen at this point?
It's not beer. It's
Ain't
not
that
beer.
the case? All right, so if nothing else, I've got a really cool glass bottle now. So there's that.
Yeah.
It actually does say Kraken on it. So
Yeah. I would keep it.
yeah, I probably will.
Fill it full of fake blood.
I
Keep it on your bookshelf as a conversation piece.
Yeah.
no.
So this is what happens to my enemies.
We'll have to see about that. Anyway, how about we actually get things rolling proper now that I'm here and I feel actually ready to get started with the whole damn thing now that I've been back. Now that I am back, and before I go any further, I want to properly say on air where it's recorded, because I know full well that he's heard it too damn many times as it is. Thank you, Dalan, for picking up and handling for the time. He knows I've told him that I really appreciate it, but telling somebody that they've done a good job for you, there's no such thing as telling them thank you too often. Seriously, just remember that.
He did a good job.
Yep. So let me get your 5-minute freestyle started over here, because yeah, your 5-minute freestyle starts right now. For those of you that have been following me over on Facebook, yeah, you'd probably understand what it is that I ended up talking about here. Integrity. Oh man, I had somebody. Jesus, man, it's not even funny. Somebody that I know, somebody that I actually want to get on this show, as a matter of fact, had posted something on his Facebook feed about the stuff going on with the impeachment, and this one guy chimed in and said, "Nuh-uh, he didn't get impeached because of a technicality, because the articles didn't go over to the other side of the house. So he's not been impeached yet. So there." Now, I there's a history with this person. I'll explain about that in a minute. So they kind of had to go once or twice back and forth with somebody else who said, here's the news article that says he's been impeached. No. You don't have to pull up any kind of Google fake news or anything like that. He's not been impeached because it didn't go over to the other house, because that's what it says in the Constitution. And this is about the point where I kind of got involved, where it's just like, yeah, let me quote you chapter and verse from the Constitution. This is what it says. So, yeah, that's yeah, it happened. He has been impeached, and there's no technicality. Well, you can't go tell me all this stuff. You can't go pulling up this fake information. I'm going by the Constitution. The Constitution said, I just quoted you the Constitution. The one that you say that you follow, that's what I wrote. Copied and pasted. From the government's own archive on the document. Misspellings according to us and all. Well, I know a guy in law, and he's a constitutional lawyer, so he's an expert in this. He's been tutoring me on this. So, yeah, he's saying that it's on a constitutional technicality. He has been, okay. What's their name? I mean, if they're if they're an attorney, especially in constitutional law. They've probably got some case law out there that's in public for us to read. So what's his name? So I can go look up his information. I don't trust you. I don't trust any of you people that you won't like make a phone call and you know, do stuff. So, okay. How about you find out from them what the case law is that overrides what the Constitution says that I just quoted you, that you said that you believe is the case here, and we'll kind of go from there. Well, you're just a poopy head, and you've always been a poopy head, and you're still a poopy head, so I could care less about you. First off, genius, you the expression is you couldn't care less. And here's the history part. This guy's saying, and it's creative license, that I'm a poopy head because they knew me back from high school. Dig it. 30 years later, I can honestly tell you, in the 30 years, a little bit more so, since high school, I have literally not thought about this person at all. Seriously. And once I finally realized who the hell it was, when I tried to think of who they were as a person, because I knew who they were because, you know, I recognized the name. When it came down to who they were as a person, all I could think of was, and I didn't write this, your big claim to fame is that you were hanging out with the semi-burnout douche nozzles of the marching band, and that was your claim to fame. You toothpick-sized piece of shit. And you're giving me crap saying that you've got your integrity because you're following your stuff. No. Integrity is following the facts. Integrity is admitting when you're at fault. Integrity is when you look at stuff and go, oops, I was wrong. I guess I'll stop now. I know from integrity, you, sir, do not have it. You grew up on Long Island. You're probably still on Long Island from what I've read. And God damn it, you are never going to grow up until you get the hell out of there. Oh yeah, and for the record, once I went ahead and told him all this, I turned off all notifications for anything to do with that thread. Because as far as I'm concerned, who cares now? This is episode 293 on the docket, Your Honor. The road ahead, because it's the new year. It's my first show of the new year, which, yay, I'm back. Trying to catch up on everything. It's been fun. And, you know, it's probably a good idea to kind of look forward to, well, what's going to be coming ahead of us. Are we thinking about it in terms of, you know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Kind of a little bit, but there are things that we know full well are on the horizon. And there are some parts about it that what we do is, it's important. We ourselves may not necessarily be important, but what we do is, and that's kind of what we're taking it from. I didn't go looking up information about Rafe Badawi. Last I had heard, he had been doing okay. He'd stopped a fast that he was doing, but that he was okay, as much as you can be. Unfortunately, you know, my information is a couple of weeks out of date at this point because, you know, I'm kind of ramping up into getting back into the speed of everything. However, as of the recording of tonight's show, I did look up and do the math again to make sure that I had the time right. As of the recording of tonight's show, it has now been 7 years, 6 months, 26 days since Rafe Badawi was unjustly incarcerated for thought crimes. Our hopes, our thoughts are still with you and your family, and we are still waiting. So, with that, we got stuff that Brigid and I talked about before we got started with the show, and I want to start with one of them because there's a couple of different pieces to go along with it. And the first item is, well, I said it at the top, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it again. Fuck cancer.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
There's a couple of reasons for that. First and foremost is Donald J. has gone ahead and said that cancer deaths have apparently declined this past year or two. I forget exactly what the time frame was. And, congratulations on him and his administration for being part of all that. Yeah, you've got about as much to do with that as for, the turning of the new year having the largest number in the year since you came into office. You had nothing to do with this, you charlatan. Pain in the ass.
Yeah, and I found out yesterday that Neil Peart passed away from brain cancer. And, if anybody has watched this show, for very long, they know that I'm, a Rush fangirl, have been for close to 40 years. And that one hit me really hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, why did he have to die from brain cancer? Why can't it be Trump? Oh, he doesn't have a brain. And I shouldn't have said that. That was really mean. But he deserves it.
But there's still this trend I see everywhere is that all these people taking credit for all the positive things and not taking any responsibility for the negative things. So
True.
Exactly.
True. Damned annoyingly so.
And it's the same in politics, like Trump's doing this, and and also in religion, giving all the positive, like an entire neighborhood burns down, and maybe the church is the only building that doesn't burn down, and everybody's, it's a miracle. But, in a way, it's saying, well, fuck everybody else. And why was there the fire in the first place?
I mean, you've seen the meme before with the lightning bolts coming down and hitting the water. And it says, fuck these 6 fish in particular.
Of course, there was also the, I forget where the hell it was, somewhere out in the Southwest, I think, where there's there was, operative word was, the giant, they've referred to it as the touchdown Jesus.
Yes.
And it's this big, it looks like it could have been made out of paper mache. Looks like it could have been. And I'm saying these terms very specifically because I'm using the past, what's the right term for it? Past existence verbiage for a reason. Because touchdown Jesus had to be replaced at least once because touchdown Jesus apparently pissed off Thor and Zeus and lightning bolted and burned it to the ground at least once.
And that sucker was huge. It was like 50 feet tall.
Yep.
And arms outstretched.
Looked like shit.
Water.
It looked like shit.
It looked like he was trying to catch a touchdown.
Exactly.
And the locals called him Butter Jesus too because he was the color of butter.
Oh, God.
And and what's really ironic is there are huge billboards across the street from Touchdown where he used to be that were for, adult novelty stores and things like that. And it's like, oops, he had really bad aim.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hit the wrong target.
Well, we don't know. It could have been hitting exactly the right target.
Maybe that's, the whole graven image thing. I don't know.
See, that you knew right where I was going. Exactly.
Yeah. But that was just hilarious. And I drove by Touchdown Jesus on the way to Dayton. Years ago. And I remembered seeing it and going, wow, that's really creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. Oh, okay. So backtracking just a second. The whole cancer thing, because it's a trifecta on this one,
Mm.
and this is the other piece that I forgive me. You guys know full well I say on so many occasions I don't want to make this show about me, but I've got some vanity in me, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. This year will mark the 15th year since my wife passed. And also, with her, cancer. Rare one, no less, which made
Mm.
things just oh so much fun. If you'll excuse a little bit of black humor, when the Roswell Park Cancer Institute, which is the group here in Buffalo, a fabulous group, by the way, can't recommend them enough. When they finally diagnosed it as the name of the specific cancer was angiosarcoma. They called it 1 in a million for them to see, reminding you that their name is the Roswell Park. That was the name of the doctor that founded the place. His name was Roswell Park. No lie. The name of it is the Roswell Park Cancer Institute. For them to say, yeah, this is a 1 in a million for us. Yeah, so the black humor for her was, well, I always wanted to be special. I guess this is about as special as you can get. So,
Yeah.
sometimes black humor is all you got to work with. She was, we did what we could. But yeah, this May it's going to be 15 years. And before anybody asks, yeah, it still hurts. Yeah, it probably will forever for me.
Mhm.
But what can I say? Love is not always I would die for you. Sometimes love is I will endure for you. So I go on. And that's about as far as we're going to talk on that one. Except, of course, to say that, the idea that strides are being made in this area, that's great. That's wonderful. That's great. I love hearing that these statistics come up. It gets to be a little bit annoying every once in a while that somebody pulls up the whole, well, we've got a new cancer treatment idea that's modifying T cells. Yeah, we've seen this kind of thing. Well, they're going through the whole thing with the lab rats. Yeah, I saw this one 2 years ago. Do we have human trials yet? Well, I don't know. Well, let me know when we get there. I don't like to be the downer on that kind of thing, but you know, is what it is. Unfortunately, we go on, we keep trying, and we keep fighting. And the fact that the fight is getting better, markedly better, that's a good thing. So, all you researchers out there that don't get the accolades that you really deserve, good on you guys. Thank you. Thank you. May you one day get suntan on you from fluorescent lighting or whatever. I don't know. These guys in the research labs, they don't get to see sunlight very often. They're the vampires of the group. Good vampires though. They don't sparkle and they're actually helping people. So go with that.
One thing that I've found interesting and kind of surprising is people that have bone marrow transplants. If they happen to be HIV positive at the time, a lot of times the bone marrow transplant will get rid of the HIV.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
That
man.
blows my mind.
Yeah, yeah. The idea that might be a possible solution,
Yeah,
but let's face it, that's
expensive and it's painful.
yeah, it is.
And you're looking at 90 days isolated from everybody and everything.
Yep.
And that's if everything goes well and you don't pick up any infections.
Which in a hospital environment, I mean, say what you will
Yeah.
about oh, every hospital's got the MRSA and all staff and whatever.
Hmm.
You don't need to talk through that part. All you need is for one bad moment to have happen.
Hmm.
And that's easy when you consider how many viri and bacteria there are that could screw stuff up. I mean, shit, you get particulate in your lungs. You could have a bad day. Perfect example of that one. And this is going back into the this is going back into the old radio show stuff that I know about. Once upon a time, there's a little thing called the Korean War. You might have heard about it. Well, the USO was kind of a new thing, sort of. And one of the first guys to go over, I'm pretty sure it was the Korean War. Shit, I gotta look it up in particular. I forget if it was World War II or Korea. In any case, Al Jolson. Al Jolson, one of the few performers that I can ever say I support him that he wore blackface. There's reasons. There's reasons. Trust me on this one. He was the guy that was, folks, you ain't heard nothing yet. This was the guy who was an absolute superstar. He was the guy, when he would be crooning in front of a big band, they built a stage that came from the front of the stage all the way out into the audience so that he could perform and sing and dance all the way down into the audience and then all the way back again. He was massive, huge. He was one of the first guys to go over there. And he had one lung. But because of the dust and the grime that ended up building up in his lungs from performing over there, and he performed a lot, he ended up with pneumonia, and it killed him. And if memory serves, they gave him a special commendation medal posthumously because they considered it having suffered injury in a war zone, effectively. I forget what the actual wording was, but they gave him a special citation specifically for that. So, yeah, you don't need to come down with the disease to come down with a disease. So, keep that in mind. And like I said, the pain on top of that, I don't. The idea of somebody going in and scraping out the insides of my bones, yeah, I don't like that idea. I really don't like that idea at all. Doesn't it leave your bones like brittle for a while too?
Uh, that I'm not. I mean, they do usually give people reclassed, which is to help rebuild bones and things. Um, but I would not want to have to go through that.
No, I don't think anybody would want to have. But given the choice between going through with high five for the rest or whatever, or getting your bones tinkered with for recovery after a year, I think it would be kind of hard to turn down a year's recovery for being done for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, the only bad thing about it is when you get bone marrow transplants, you can end up developing other cancers, as a result of the treatment.
Yeah, it's possible, but again, it's a matter of it's possible. Don't know
Yeah,
how likely. That's the
I
thing.
just knew one young lady. She ended up. I worked with her, and she ended up passing away when she was 23, and she was on her fourth bone marrow transplant.
God damn it.
Yeah, her first one was when she was 6. But her cancer just kept coming back.
And I remember when Fuji was going in for radiation. And there were a couple of times she was scheduled about around the same time as a 9-year-old girl. And she was a trooper.
Yeah.
So, you know, the fact that these numbers are improving is a good thing. And that is a testament to people who want to go into this area and do good work and learn. Because research is not sexy. It is not one of those sexy sciences. It's a long-term kind of, like I said, you're indoors the vast majority of your time, looking at data, looking at output from chemistry sets. I'm please forgive me if it sounds like I'm minimizing this stuff. I'm not. It's just sometimes you got to look at this stuff and just kind of go, okay, what are we doing today? DNA sequencing. Oh, well, that's at least fun. You get the idea.
And it's a lot of trial and error too.
Yeah, it is. When they were working on my wife's, they they literally came up with a genetic lock and key system for the drug that they were doing as a test. Even though we couldn't do a drug trial, they found out that this drug that they were doing with a trial was a perfect match for her. And fortunately, like I said, on many an occasion, if she had the drug a year in advance, we might still have her today. Might. But, there's no way of knowing, obviously. So, research is not sexy, but wow. Massive respect for all you guys who are doing it. I know. None of you guys are ever going to pay attention to this for later, but whatever. Just
And
know that,
especially considering all the cuts to the NIH too.
yeah, that's something that we can look forward to. One of the other items that like I said, Brigid and I talked about before you were able to get here, Joseph, was that one of the things we have to look forward to. Say what you will about everything that goes on after the point, but the specific point this year here in the U.S., of course, is near the end of the year. We have federal elections again. This is going to be pretty massive. This is going to be tumultuous. This is going to be pretty damned amazing.
What do you mean by federal election? Like presidential?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
calling
Here.
calling it a federal election is probably a bit of a misnomer. It's the big one.
Yeah, presidential election, and also I think about half of the senators.
No, I think it's a third of the senators and half of the
After the
House.
House, something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, so it is fair to say that this is going to be a tumultuous year going forward because of all this stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to talk about the stuff to do with the impeachment trial. We're not even going to touch on that in any way, shape, or form tonight because that's not something that we need to. Looking forward to how the rest of the year is going to play out here in the political arena. There is an old Chinese proverb, and if I say it incorrectly, please forgive me. I believe it goes something on the order of, "May you live in interesting times."
Yep, that's it.
Brother, is this ever?
But what I hear in the few I haven't had much time lately, but when I looked at the latest news and a bit of what's going on Facebook, my time there is rare and rare these days. But anyways, it seems that Bernie Sanders is surging ahead for the Democratic nomination.
Yep, and that's good. That's very
Well,
good.
he's starting to actually gain some support among people of color.
Well, what do you mean begin?
Well, last time he didn't really get a lot of support from like African Americans and Latinos, um, but he's starting to pick up there, and I think part of that is because I can't remember her last name,
But
Nina.
He's been in the civil rights movement since
Yeah, he
forever.
has. I mean, since forever. So he's the real deal on that. But his top surrogate right now, her name is Nina something. I can't remember the last name, but she used to be a state senator, and she's African American, and she's very, um, pro Bernie, very supportive, and she is now going out and speaking before he does, and she can really fire people up. I mean, in a good way.
Hmm.
But she's been emphasizing how much he has done for civil rights and African American community since the 60s and being arrested and things like that. And I think people need to hear that. That's the part of the Democrats usually take African American votes for granted because they're not going to vote Republican. um, but last time I think a lot of them just stayed home
Yeah,
and
they
didn't
don't
vote at
vote.
all. And so I
But
think that this will help turn out the vote for among African Americans to come out and vote. And I know around here we're going to be doing a lot of get out the vote, voter registration um, kiosks, and I'm going to personally take off work and offer to drive people to the polls if they need a ride.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'm running for a delegate slot myself, so I'm trying to do what I can.
yeah. Good luck on all that. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. I've done it before. It's been a long time, but I did it back in 2008, and it went really, really well.
Cool. Um, on behalf of the show, because I mean, I need to make sure that I say it. We will not tell you who to vote for. We will not tell you who you should vote for. We will tell you how we individually feel about the issues and the personalities involved. But HCTV itself is not here to tell you this is who we endorse, this is who we do not like. Any statements regarding this are our own personal opinions, and that's it. Now,
Yeah, the only thing that I'd say on behalf of the show is just whatever your affiliation or whoever you like, just go out and vote. People in other countries die for the privilege of going out and voting, and it's for the most part painless.
yep,
I'm
And I
just
and
gonna
I think
say,
people have a civic duty where they should make their voices heard, because it's not right that less than 30% of the population determines the direction of the country. I think more people need to be involved in that decision. So get out and vote.
I just have two criteria to um, suggest. Is just one, don't vote only for your own interests, and two, don't vote against your own interests. Excuse me.
that's a good point. That's an
Yeah.
excellent point. The
And
problem
I think if
is,
you can cover those, I think you're voting in the right direction.
yeah, the biggest problem, of course, as we've seen, is that here in the States, too damn many people vote against their best interests because they've
Don't
been
fucking clue what their interests are.
they yes and no.
They
I
don't
think
know
of
how to make value judgments for themselves. They're not thinking for themselves, basically. They're letting somebody else dictate to them what's quote unquote good for them. And in most cases, people doing dictating like that, they're only interested in their own interests.
Yeah, there is that. I was going to say that,
That's
for
just it's a state of credulity that's easily abused.
and that's exactly it. There are a number of areas. Where the hell is McConnell from again?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Specifically Kentucky in this case has been so under, I'm not quite sure the right way of putting it, underwhelmed as far as to economics. I'm saying it very poorly. I'm sorry. They've been in such straits for, I don't even, is it wrong for me to even say decades at this point?
No, decades is about right.
But
They have a lot of people on Medicaid in that state because, they're dirt poor. It's a very poor state, not as bad off as Mississippi, say, but they're still not in good position.
no. And the problem is, so many of these folks keep getting sold a crap bill of sale that's on credit. And I don't know that the metaphor that I'm using is wrong. They keep believing in the lie that the boom is coming. It's just over the hill. You just have to wait, and you just have to work with me, and you just have to believe I'm gonna make it happen. Oh, it's gonna happen after my term is over? Well, it's the other guy that screwed it up now. It's the same thing with the excuse me if I piss people off. The whole, well, your life sucks now, but just wait until after you've dead, then everything's going to be all nice and hunky-dory, so long as you've been pitching into your future medical savings account with the church, I guess is the best way of putting. I'm sorry, am I mixing metaphors at this point? I don't care. I don't care, because screw them. That whole medical thing, that's a whole other thing right there.
Yeah.
That's a
But I mean, at least they're not doing everything the same. I mean, I think that McConnell will probably get reelected. I mean,
oh, I don't know.
he has so much. He has way too much power for one person.
I don't know this time.
But since they got rid of their, Governor Bevin, I think they're tired of what they've been, put through and having Medicaid stripped from them, and Bevin just, I mean, playing cutthroat
Yeah.
with the poor people.
From what I remember, I believe there's an African American gentleman that has been challenging, that is looking really good right now. Really good with his numbers. Like I said, I've been gone for a couple of weeks, so I haven't been really paying as close attention to stuff as I'd like to. But the idea of all this stuff stirring up, oh, I like that a lot. I really like that a lot.
Well, I guess it could happen. Eric Cantor, I mean, that was a huge upset. The congressman from Virginia, losing his seat.
Yep.
He was gunning for Speaker of the House,
I think what I really like the idea of, and I don't know who else has been seeing this, the idea that I really like right now is the concept that, well, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna use it anyway. These old fuckers are gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't happen fast enough for my taste. When I was a kid, when I was in grade school, I don't even remember what year it was. It could have been my second or third grade year. I remember very clearly one of my teachers telling my class, reminding you that My class, we were all born 1969. That when the 21st century hits, my class was going to be the first stewards of that new century.
Mm-hmm.
My class from 1969, 20 years into this new century, this new millennium. I'm 50 years old. This country, my country, is being run by people who are in their 70s plus. This is a problem. This is wrong. We need another JFK. We need another young resurgence. We need, quote unquote, the kids by comparison to come in and sweep these sons of bitches out of office.
Yep.
If and or when that happens, there's going to be a lot of change. There's going to be a lot of change. And I, for one, welcome our new, very progressive overlords when that happens. Because the numbers say that the younger ones at this point, yeah, they're the ones who are very much the progressive group. Geez, I can't imagine how that could have possibly happened.
And a lot of them are very active, very involved, which is great.
Yep. There was the one kid ran for mayor a couple of years ago, and he was 16 and won mayor of a town, and still wasn't out of high school yet because they didn't have anything on the books about an age requirement, so he just ran. I forget who the hell it was, but he made the talk circuit, at night. I don't know if he was allowed to drink anywhere.
Probably not.
Probably not. But still, how cool is that idea?
Well, it seems like the kids are going to show us the way. Look at Greta Thunberg.
She's great.
She is amazing, and for a 16-year-old.
And she's not the only one.
No, she's not.
No, she's not. There's her. There's oh God, I forgot what his first name was. Was it David Hogg?
David Hogg. Yeah, David Hogg.
People been harping on him, saying all kinds of disparaging things about him. And what does he keep doing?
He keeps going.
He keeps going. He basically was doing the okay boomer without saying okay boomer. Mm-hmm. That's really what it came down to. And slow and steady. Greta came out there and basically gave everybody the talking down to that they needed. Mm-hmm. For whatever good it's going to do for some of these jackasses.
I think there's a lot of people out there who have a lot to say, but if what you have to say goes against the status quo, you don't have much of a chance of getting your voice out there.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Greta, though, is, she's had a hell of an impact in the UK. There's a group called Extinction Rebellion, and they literally shut down London, because they had close to 1 million people show up out into the streets for days. And, we don't have that kind of movement here in the U.S. I think people should be out in the streets by now over many issues, but, people are too comfortable. They, lay on the couch and watch reality TV and don't get in the streets.
And go to their local Walmart and don't think about the child workers who basically slave to make whatever they're buying.
Yeah. Or prison labor. They get paid even less than the sweatshop wages.
I forget what year it came out, but Jello Biafra, the dead Kennedys,
Mhm.
They got it right. I think they came up with their album "Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death." It was in 1984, and even back then, they saw what was going on.
Yeah.
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 And what we're
It's
seeing today is the result of all this mindless consumerism, where technology is making everything easier to make.
oh, it's not
It
even.
should be making things cheaper and
Mhm.
greener, even. But instead, it's you know the producers, the corporations, all that. They use technology to increase their profit margins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an oligarchy here now.
Yeah, and the problem of that stems from the way that capitalism itself works. And I I will admit I did not complete micro or macroeconomics for reasons. I was going to try to take them both at the same time in college, and no, that was
Wow.
yeah, that was a bad semester for me. That was a semester when I realized, yeah, I'm not cut out for college. But be that as it may, as somebody who's lived long enough and watched enough to see what goes on and to understand evolution, follow me a second, trust me,
Okay.
statistics, um, some minor parts of economics overall, this, what we have now, is exactly what capitalism will do every time. The idea with capitalism is to maximize profits, minimize expenditures. Always. And if that means that you cut safety corners because nobody's telling you not to or enforcing it, you do that because that minimizes expenditures and maximizes profit.
They don't
So,
worry about externalities, which is what they refer to, consequences.
right. Now, the reason why statistics comes into this is because if you have a balance beam, if you've got a teeter totter, perfect example, teeter totter, exactly the same length on either side of the fulcrum point, the middle point, and you have exactly 100 kilograms. Go with me for a second, people. I know some of you don't get kilograms. Don't worry about it. 100 kilograms on one side and 100 kilograms on the other side in identical locations so that the teeter totter is level, just like a regular level, and everything is in balance. Great, perfect. If you have 1/10 of 1 gram too much on one side, that side will slowly and inevitably lower. Slowly and inevitably, bit by bit, degree by degree, until it hits the ground. You may not notice it at first until all of a sudden you kind of blink and, oh, was it really there? No, no, no. In economics, the same thing happens with capitalism. If there is not an exact balance between various different things, something is going to keep gobbling at something else. And that's why we have the House of Mouse that owns ABC, ESPN, Disney Plus streaming, 20th Century Fox, Paramount Pictures, LucasArts, etc., 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 ad nauseum. Look up what Disney currently owns, and you will be completely disgusted. And that's just one company. And to think that there are a couple of others that are kind of holding their own for now, but all it's going to take is just for that 1/10 of 1 gram to change the tipping point, and then eventually everything gets gobbled up by whoever's got that extra 1/10 of 1 gram. If you don't want to look at TV and Disney and all that stuff, think about the airline industries. How many are left? Anybody remember TWA? I do.
Yep.
Republic
Pan
Airlines?
Am.
Pan
Yep.
Am? Shit, Pan Am was in 2001, thank you very much. No, sorry, that was TWA. Yeah, it was TWA, sorry. Even so. So, this is what happens. When things go unchecked, unregulated, people do whatever it is that they can do in order to win at all costs.
You know, and it's funny, we're creating a disaster scenario because everything is going to, if all production is controlled by only a few corporations, I mean, it's one big network. And if that network goes down, where do we go for our sustenance?
That is an excellent question.
Yeah. And I can see bad things happening. Borton just announced that they're filing for bankruptcy, and Dean Foods also did. And those are two of the biggest dairy distributors. And Celadon Trucking also filed for bankruptcy. So, and they were the biggest trucking, whatever you want to call it, freight 18-wheelers.
Joy Rapture.
We really have to have a conversation about what profit margins do to our economy. Because, I mean, in the most basic logic, taking a profit is taking more than you give. I mean, just a basic thing. Your existence requires a certain amount of resources and work, whatever. So if you're taking more than what you put into what's necessary for your own survival, that means you're taking from somebody else's work, basically. And it can't sustain itself. That's why this is perpetual need to have more children and more to increase the population so that just to maintain this profit system.
Well, hold on to that idea a second, because I kind of want to come back to that, because I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think there's another piece of nuance that kind of goes along with that. Phyllis.
Well, it's not the whole picture, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Phyllis, no Pan Am, you talking about the movie, right? I don't know what you're making any kind of reference to, so I need you to kind of help me out on that one a little bit. But what Joseph was just saying is true, but there's again, there's more to it. The argument is usually, well, if you are taking money away from me that I've hard earned, what right do you have to do that? Okay,
that wasn't what I was saying.
No. I know. But the argument that I end up having heard over the years has been, why should you take extra money away from me when I've hard earned it? Meaning the profits away from a company for taxation purposes, for instance.
Ooh, that's complicated.
Yes.
But you're going into a few things there.
Yeah.
These are upper levels.
No, I got you. That's why I kind of want to kind of glaze over this very, very gently, because a deep dive on this kind of stuff. I told you I didn't finish economics, so whatever.
But used to, CEOs made about 10 times what their workers made. And now here they're making, like, I forgot the exact statistic, but like 468 times what their workers are making. And, if the workers are the ones that's making profit, it's wrong to take that much. And it makes me sick when companies have to file for bankruptcy to see their CEO end up getting like $62 million on the way out the door.
Yep. What I was going to specifically say, though, was that I don't begrudge people or companies making a profit. I begrudge them making such a profit as to be completely obscene.
Mm-hmm.
If memory serves, I think it was in the late 30s and early 40s. I forget when it was, but at one point, the highest tax bracket here in the United States, again reminding you on a graduated scale, was 95% on the upper echelon of how much money companies or individuals, I think it was individuals, brought in for themselves for income. And for companies, I think it was very close to that. But if you invested your profits into, expenditures for the company to grow the company, that was viewed as something that would offset part of your tax burden. So it was helping to build other stuff and infrastructure and all that stuff.
That's
So you're
exactly
effective.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If you made profits and you're okay, say your company makes this product that suddenly goes viral and everybody buys it and all that, as long as the profit the company earns stays within the company. But what's really disgusting is that you've got profits made and people are basically trading, like
Mm-hmm.
offloading profits for they reinvest it in other things and all that, and they lose quite often, or they make even more money. But anyways, it has nothing further to do with the company. The money the company made, the profit the company made, um, after a while has nothing to do with the company anymore. It's divorced
Yep. Funny you should say
from
that,
its source.
because Stephanie had just put over here, no CEO adds worth to any company to come close to matching their salaries and bonuses. True. Highly true. Perfect example. I forget what her name was, but a woman who went over to Hewlett Packard to run the computer company. Lots of
Carla
money.
something.
Yeah. Came in, and I'm not singling her out because she's female. I'm singling her out because she's one of those people that I specifically knew about. Because I don't know about any of those. I mean, we could talk about the Wang Computer Company, but oh my God, let's not go. But Wang Computers, the only computers that run on ball bearings. Remember that. That's important for that. She came in and she had gajillions of dollars in bonuses for, cool, congratulations. We sold more computers this quarter than last quarter. So what? I mean, really, so what? Why do you need millions upon tens of millions of dollars in bonus for that? Remember I was talking about the statistics and the math earlier? I figured
Mm-hmm.
out. Excuse me one second. Sorry, dry throat. I did this. I did the numbers, and I figured out if I wanted to live comfortably for the rest of whatever on a mediocre money market account with 1% interest. I know these days that's actually a relatively high number, but I remember once upon a time ago when savings account used to be 14%. Yes,
Mm-hmm. I remember
I
too.
remember those days. Yeah, back
Mm-hmm.
when we were into the whole Iraq war once upon a time ago. That's a whole other thing for later. Anyway, 1% interest. If I had a money market account with $10 million in the bank at 1% interest, how much money in interest would that be a year? All you got to do is just move the decimal point over. It's $100,000 a year for $10 million in the bank. And let me tell you, a bank would be very happy to hold on to that money and give me more than 1% because, I mean, that's $10 million that they get to hold on to. $100,000 a year. I could begin to tell you how much comfortable how much more comfortable I would be living where I do at $100,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
I could live off of that easily,
Mm-hmm.
quite comfortably.
Yeah. Now, these guys who are given, I'm not going to say earn, who are given bonus, Toys R Us. Toys R Us, perfect example, because they want to come back again here in the U.S. They went bankrupt. They closed down. Their upper guys got golden parachutes in the $60 million range, if memory serves. 60 million.
That's a heck of a reward for bankrupting a company.
Think about it. $100,000 a year for $10 million in the bank. And that's not a lot of money for one of these guys. All they need to do is be a CEO for half a year. Oh, I got that in the bank. I'm done. I'm done for the rest of whatever. I don't need to do anything else. Put it in the bank. Done. I can live off of. I can move off into the boonies and live in a small town. $100,000 a year. Here, I can take the taxes that I need from part of that, and I can live off of let's say $30,000 a year, and cover everything that I need. You know, these companies expect this to last forever. It won't. It can't.
It can't. It's not sustainable.
No.
And we're a consumer-run, consumer-based economy, and if you squeeze out the middle class, where there is no middle class, who's going to be your consumers? You're not going to have any.
Nope.
And that's just the way that it is.
Yeah. And Fearless, the plane from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, that was it Pan Am? Crap. You know what? I don't remember. I'm not going to bother looking it up right now. And Stephanie's right. It's not about actual value. It's about status.
Mm-hmm.
How accurate is that? You're spot on the money. So what is it that we're going to be looking forward to that? How many companies are going to go under this year?
A lot. There are a lot of retailers that are in trouble right now.
Yep.
Restaurants, bookstores, yeah.
Sears.
And yeah, Sears. I was trying to think. Barnes and Noble is in trouble. Amazon's taking so much business, and they're trying to. Well, I think they've got what is it, Whole Foods now?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I think they acquired Whole Foods, but places like that is driving out smaller businesses, and it's just not going to be sustainable in the long run. I think Jeff Bezos is worth something like $5 billion, but
and for what? Really, that's what it comes down to. For what?
For treating their people that work in the warehouses like crap. To where they're timed, to the 100th of a second, moving product, and it's hot, no air conditioning. If you happen to be sick, they really don't care. And a lot of the labor now is not. It's it's the gig economy. A lot of people have temporary jobs that go on for years at the same place, but they're still temps. That way, they don't have to get paid benefits.
Oh, I know from that.
And I think that is really horrible to do that to people, but that's where we're at. And then you have these for-profit prisons that are now, I don't know what you call it, outsourcing their inmates' labor to some of the companies here. That way, they might pay them 8 cents a day to make your Nikes, which is cheaper than using a sweatshop. And I think it sets a bad precedent for putting more people in jail just so they can get the free labor.
It's worse than debtor's prison. At least with debtor's prison, there was the possibility of earning your escape.
Well, debtors' prisons have come back too, and instead of credit cards, companies coming after you via collection agencies, people are being arrested now for credit card debts in some states. I know Arkansas is doing that. If you get behind on your credit card payments, and they'll come and arrest you and put you in jail. That is horrible. It's not the 1700s and 1800s. Why are we doing that to people? And it's just another form of slavery. To me, if you're an inmate, you have no choice. You do what you're told, or else they tack on more time. So, you'll work for 8 cents a day.
Or something that's been going on. I'm sorry. I see some stuff going on my side that looks a little on the weird side, so just bear with us a little bit. Phyllis had also said, the problem with court today is that the workforce is expendable. Feed for a couple of seconds there. We should be back on properly. That was not cool. In the corner of my streaming program, I've actually got a thing that tells me what the stream speed is going out, and for a couple of seconds there, it dropped down to 0. So, yeah. So we're everything's okay now. As far as to the expendability thing, the last time I remember this kind of expendability issue, wasn't there suddenly this big push for unionization for a lot of organizations that were, in manufacturing especially?
Mm-hmm.
What was the what was that lady's name? What was that movie? Norma Rae. I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that one right. Crap! Now I have to look it up because I don't remember. IMDB. Norma Rae. I think I got it right. Do I remember it right? Norma Rae, 1979. Sally Field. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. I actually remembered. Go me. Thank you, HBO. It was on HBO back in the day. That's why I remembered it. Go me. Anyway.
Yeah, we're all expendable, and it's made very clear that we're expendable.
Yeah. Yeah, and therein lies the biggest problem, isn't it? It's no longer viewed as an investment in the people that do the job for you. It's no longer training the people to do a good job, whether it be front-facing customer service, on the register lines, stocking shelves. Who the hell cares anymore?
Well, most of the work that can be outsourced is being outsourced, and what really sucks is they're getting people here about to lose their jobs, training their replacements that their jobs are being outsourced to.
Yeah.
That's a kick in the gut.
Yep. Remember, I was a telephone jockey for a while, and yes, here in the U.S., and it was an okay job. It wasn't great. There were days that I woke up answering the phone in my sleep because we all did it. But, once you get past all that, it wasn't a bad job. The phone calls were coming in. We weren't calling out, which makes all the difference in the world to me. Mm-hmm. So, but, when, like I said earlier, any opportunity to maximize your profit by negating your expenditures as much as possible. Hey, you can pay somebody in India less. And yes, I'm picking on India because that's where those phone services have gone.
Yep, they sure have.
The
insurance companies are doing that too, outsourcing their work to India.
Yep. Stuff gets automated and the prices stay the same. Stuff gets outsourced so that there's fewer expenditures and the prices stay the same.
Or in the case of insurance companies, prices go up.
Yep. The labor cost goes down. The cost to the consumer stays the same. The quality and the expense of the products that are actually produced go down. The price stays the same or goes up. And all the while, the screaming and yelling is, well, who needs to have their minimum wage increased? Who should be looking at a minimum wage job and thinking that they should be allowed to live properly off of that? Wasn't it FDR?
Used to, they could. Used to, someone making minimum wage, could be the sole earner of the house and have a house and a family and eat.
Yes. Now I'm trying to remember who it was.
I mean, 10 years ago, minimum wage was $7.25 an hour, and today it's still $7.25 an hour. 10 years.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the one item over here. The Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. 40 years later, a distinguished news commenter asked incredulously, excuse me, my God, 25 cents an hour. Why all the fuss? Oh, good Lord. Yeah, the New Deal. FDR, if ever there was someone that we can say benefited from medical technology in an unscrupulous manner, it was FDR. Now hold on to this one a second. FDR used a wheelchair a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it hid the fact, because he did it in an unscrupulous manner, please forgive me, that people really didn't realize that he used a wheelchair a lot while he was president, because he had polio and it made him kind of weak. And he still ended up being one of those people that was like, yeah, we need to actually take care of people. Let's go ahead and do that, because people who are in good shape economically and healthy and able to enjoy having a life actually end up being better people. Imagine how that works. And these areas where they got $15 an hour and nobody's going under, companies aren't suddenly folding up, and the people who are reaping in the $15 an hour are just like, yeah, this is great. I can actually live. Thank you very much. Excuse me. And Stephanie, that's actually great. Stephanie's saying, I only go to a supermarket when forced. I get my food from a farmer's market or the local market and Tradecraft, which is a fair trade company. That's something that I don't know anything about. I'm actually interested to do a little bit of research on that later. So that should prove to be interesting for me. Now, we covered a lot of area. We covered a lot of pieces that were kind of have been sitting in the back of our heads for a long time anyway. But there is one thing that I want to talk about while we've still got the last half hour. As far as things that we've got to look forward to. And it reconnected. Well, that's just brilliant. Okay, so we're back again. This is disquieting. I have no idea why it suddenly dropped out and then came back again.
Gremlins.
Gremlins. I'll go with that. Anyway, so what I was saying was that I'm very much looking forward to continuing doing the show. With the number of weeks that we've done it, with the number of episodes that we've got, with the number of years that we've done so far, and I mean, let's face it, it's been a long time. I don't remember how many weeks or months or whatever. It doesn't matter.
It's like 4 years or something.
Something like that. I'm not
a long time.
I'm not even going to figure it out.
Well, I've been on for 4 years, so it's longer than that.
Yeah, well, you're old and washed up. You got nothing better to do with your time anyway.
I know, right? What else am I going to do on a Saturday night besides sleep?
Oh, God, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that right now. Anyway. But, I mean, the point being is that, I got to thinking earlier this week as we're coming up onto, doing the show and realizing, oh shit, yeah, I gotta come up with a topic. I gotta think about this. I I gotta get back to work. And I say that tongue in cheek because there is a certain point about this that is kind of work, and a lot of it really isn't. But I thought about some of the other folks that have been part of this community with us that aren't at this point. Bobby and Ms. Ashley and Susie and Bill from Barroom Atheist and No Religion Required.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nothing's happened to them other than, Bobby still doesn't have a piece of finger. It's just that they stopped doing their shows because, well, reasons. Everybody's got their reasons for why they do or do not do whatever show. And remember, they're never under any kind of obligation. They don't owe us a show. Never do. But, I miss them. I need to extend to them to see about getting them, on with us once in a while, if they're really up for it. I miss having Cash and Professor Steven. Last I saw, Steven's doing well. I do see posts every once in a while from Cash. He's doing well for himself. He's okay. But he's the one that really got us started. And let's see who Callie Wright is still doing a good job of it. And I'm very proud. I'm very glad for that. Tris Ramon is still doing. I forget who the hell else was all part and parcel of the whole, the gang with all that. I'm looking forward to seeing if we can't mentor a couple of other folks. Believe it or not. Long time ago, the question was, how many atheist voices, how many skeptical voices, how many voices should we have out there? And the answer is always been all of them. And I know we don't exactly talk on completely atheist topics or completely skeptical topics. I try. It gets really boring sometimes to just do the atheist thing all the time. It's tough because, there's a certain point where even we atheists are just like, you know what, don't do this one again. I mean, really, we know, just move on to something else. But maybe we see if we can't find a way of kind of mentoring a couple of folks. I think that would be really cool. I think that would be really cool. So we see. We see. Maybe we get a little bit more. Maybe we see about getting a little bit more cross pollination going on again. Who knows? You know, maybe we get Susie and Ms. Ashley instead of the boys. Ooh. Ooh.
We could stir up some trouble.
That would be worth it.
Yeah, but speaking of, people that we've lost,
Yeah.
Tracy Harris.
Wait, what?
Yeah. There was some drama with the atheist community of Austin, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but she's did her last conference speech at Kentucky Free Thought. She's done. She's moved on.
Okay. Fill me in after the show?
Sure.
Okay. Because you can probably guess. No clue.
Stutter, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jen Peoples as well. They're done.
Okay.
And that's really sad. No more atheist experience. No more, none of that. They just said, we're done.
Okay.
She was a very important voice, in my opinion. Tracy, she's very intelligent.
Yeah. We had Tracy on.
100th episode.
Yep. Episode 100. That's something else. That's something else. Maybe I should see about that in a couple of weeks, about having another all ladies show, because I mean, we haven't done that since.
Yeah. Well, for episode 300, maybe I can talk her into coming on for that and tell her it doesn't have to be a topic that's atheist related. We can talk about whatever she wants to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have her back on. We could talk about polyamory too.
There's a lot of things. All right, we'll kind of kick that around a little bit later, because there's got a bunch of possibilities.
Yeah.
What would you like to see have happen?
Well, I would like to see
a foot up Mike Pence's ass? Yeah, that's. I think
well,
we'd all like to
that'd
see
be good.
that.
I'd love to see Mike Pence just go, okay, this is too much. I'm out here, and fail. I would love to see that.
Join the club.
Because fuck Mike Pence. We're still reeling from some of the damage that he did while he was governor here, and still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least it looks like the funerals for fetuses thing got shot down.
Can't imagine why.
I mean, that was crazy. And simple cremations around here are $1,295. And what are they going to do? Start cremating tampons? Because a lot of people miscarry before they even know they're pregnant. That's why we had the whole periods for Pence thing here. Just to check in with them, let them know we started our periods and everything's fine.
You know what? Send them all to the UPS Center in Indianapolis, fly it to LAX, and then fly it over Sydney and just airdrop it, because I mean everything's on fire there anyway. Just giant bonfire and just be done with it.
I hope that they can get their wildfires under control.
Tell me about it.
But
one good monsoon, man. One good monsoon.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that this is going to be the new normal. If there's anything normal about it, they're still in a drought. temperatures there are hotter than normal. And you know, if it's hotter, then it dries out things more and it causes more wildfires. And they're even having fires causing their own storms, which is throwing down lightning and starting more fires. It's really crazy. I
Yep.
had never heard that phenomenon before, but apparently it's a thing.
Yep. Alice Springs. Right now they are at 36 Celsius, which
Mm-hmm.
puts it at 96 freedom units.
Yeah, there was one place, I can't remember, it was, I think, somewhere near Queensland. A couple of days ago, it got up to 50
Yeah.
Celsius, which is just ridiculous.
Yep. Sydney is lucky right now. Sydney's at 19 Celsius.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, 67 Fahrenheit. So, yeah, they're comfortable at least.
Hmm.
Let's see, Sydney. Where else? Brisbane.
But Brisbane's been having a hard time with fires too. I have a friend who lives in Brisbane, and they ended up heading to Germany in until this is over, and probably gonna lose their house.
Yeah, Brisbane right now is 25 Celsius, 77 Fahrenheit. So, again, they're in okay shape, but, I mean, let's face it, Australia's on fire. There's
Mm.
no two ways about it. There's just
Yeah.
it's just hellacious.
So I'm hoping that that it's taken care of. I really, really, really hope that the permafrost starts freezing again and stops thawing. That would be great.
That would be really nice.
Hoping
Just
that my husband gets another job this year. That would be great.
that. Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed. Joseph, did you get back? You had stepped
he's still
away.
muted. He's
Yeah.
muted.
Yeah, well, he kind of does that. Joseph, are you there? He's not back here. Okay, fine. Yeah. And by the way, as an aside, right now you know what? Screw this. We'll do it this way.
But I'm looking forward to. I'm going to try to read more books this year, and got a whole stack that look really interesting.
Yeah, hold that thought 1 second. Hey Google, what's the current weather in Buffalo, New York?
Currently in Buffalo, it's 5 degrees with showers. Sunday, there'll be snow showers with a high of 5 and a low of -3. There is currently a high wind warning in effect. Due to current wind conditions, it feels like it's 1.
Reminding you that's in Celsius.
Yeah, I was wondering. I thought.
Yeah, which means that all the temperatures are above freezing.
Hmm.
This is Buffalo in the
It's
middle
not.
of goddamn winter and it's raining.
Uh-huh. I mean, same thing here. It's not supposed to be in the 60s
No.
here. I mean, we've gotten below freezing a couple of times, but usually this time of the year, our temperatures run, and this is going to be in freedom units, but, -12, -15,
Yeah.
with a high of like 5.
Yeah.
So this is just really not normal for us.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't look up. Sweet mother of the apocalypse. I finally looked up Yellowknife. Holy shit. Yellowknife is actually seasonable right now. They're at -41.
Ooh, that's cold.
It is, but that's seasonable at least. And before anybody gives me crap about it, it's pretty much the same on either scale at that point.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's pretty much where they're supposed to be. I mean, it would actually not be surprising if it was closer to -60 Celsius this time of the year. So, yay.
But I think looking at the extended outlook, for like the next couple of months. I think it's still supposed to be above normal here and wet.
Yeah. And Fearless, yeah, where our friend Roxy is up in Alaska, -9 Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's cold, but if memory serves, it's still not seasonable cold. I'm pretty sure it should normally be colder than that. And Stephanie's got it. Climate change. Outgoing stream dipped down again. Sorry about that. But again, climate change is beyond the tipping point, in my opinion. We need to concentrate on mitigation.
Yep. And oddly enough, one thing that is saving us right now is all of the pollutants from the coal. I mean, it's bad to have them, but they're acting as an umbrella right now, and causing something called global dimming. And if you'll remember, after 9/11, when they took the airplanes down for 3 days,
Yep.
the temperature here rose 1 degree Celsius from not having, the cover from the contrails and things like that. So if all of that pollution were to suddenly stop, then we would heat up even faster.
Yeah. So we've got a
and
little
we're damned
bit.
if we do, damned if we don't. But we could still reduce, some of the damage and at least spare, some life here. But, we're trying, we cannot continue as we are. Especially with other people getting the same quality of life that we have in the States and in the UK and things like that. I mean, we don't have a right to tell them that they can't have air conditioning in cars and things like that.
Yeah.
We were never meant to, carry 8 billion people on the planet. I mean, that's just too many.
Well, I don't know if that is the case or not. I'm saying that not because I disagree, as it may. If it comes down to a matter of how much power we need.
It's not that.
No, I got you.
The big thing that's going to get us is loss of habitat. And, with clear cutting the Amazon and things like that to have more land for food production and things like that, there's 150 to 200 species a day that go extinct. Some of them, we have no idea what they are. And loss of habitat is why, and that's what will get us is loss of habitat. And that's not sustainable.
Can I just go on record as saying that the leeches that basically look like they're giant earthworms that swallow earthworms from their head to their tail, those can just go ahead and die the fuck out as far as I'm concerned, because they're creepy. They're super creepy.
Well, I mean, they they probably serve as a food source for something else.
I don't care. I don't care. Have you ever seen one of these things?
No, and I probably don't want to because I'll have nightmares.
Yeah.
But people, we already have climate refugees.
I don't know, man.
I mean, look at the people in Paradise, California. They're climate refugees. And people in the Solomon Islands that are having to relocate, they can't go back home.
Yeah. Stephanie's also got another one. The Amazon was clear-cut farmland before the arrivals of the Europeans. They brought diseases, which wiped out the locals. The Amazon reforested, and the world temperature dropped. I think a good portion of it has really got to do with how much.
Well, Bolsonaro is just cut it all down, burn it all, sell it all. He doesn't care.
Yeah. It's a whole... as with so many other things, the nuance is in the dosage. How much was clear cut? because I mean it's a big difference between 2 acres versus 20 acres, and I'm pretty sure that Stephanie knows full well I'm not ragging on you at all. Handle on some of them, really do.
Well, I'm looking forward to the activists and the kids who are bringing change and
Oh yeah,
beating people over the head to get it. Good for them. I'm proud of them.
yep. And just before we sign off, by the way, Jo- and I'm getting a little concerned because Joseph's not back just yet. The other thing I was going to say, by the way, was with the way that things have been going, can you imagine what the incredible outpouring of screaming and yelling would be if suddenly every Democrat went out and bought guns and ammunition?
Oh my goodness. That would make people scream.
Yeah. It wouldn't have to be a we're gonna hold Civil War Part 2, but just the whole, I think that would be adorable to watch the whole well.
Mhm. Or have all of the African Americans
Yeah, how great would it
do
be to
it.
have the Black Panthers,
Open
everywhere,
open carrying in the states that allow it.
everywhere.
People would lose their shit. You know it, I know it.
Yep. And I would love to see that.
I would too.
I would love to see that. All right, we're just about out of time, and I want to see about getting out on time this time. Joseph, by any stretch, are you there, sir? One ringy dingy,
Hello.
two ringy ding.
Joseph.
He might have fallen back asleep, because I mean he's been gone a little while.
He had a pee merge having. We pulled it off.
Yep, and the stupid thing is having a hard time staying connected again. Okay, now see now. Okay, the problem is not CPU. The problem is outgoing speed, and yeah. So now YouTube is going ahead and giving me crap and saying, "Hey, by the way, you've got a poor data coming through." And I know, but it's fine now. You're getting the whole dang thing now. What the hell? Whatever. It'll go away. Anyway, what last item do you want to drop in here before we go ahead and close up shop?
I can't really think of anything besides fuck Mike Pence.
Yeah, I
And
think we can agree on that one. So
yeah,
as
I'm
the
looking
whole
forward to being a delegate. Yeah, that'll happen.
all right,
Yeah, instead of sitting in my chair and bitching about how screwed up things are, I'm doing at least a little something to try to fix it. Doing what I can as one person.
a little
So,
bit here, a
yeah.
little bit there. Good. Oh, and my warning from YouTube finally went away that said, "Hey, you've got buffering going on for your people who are watching." Yeah, thanks, appreciate that.
And I have to thank Professor Stephen and Heretic Woman, even though she's no longer with us, for steering me your way. And thank you for giving me a place to say stuff.
For anybody that doesn't know or doesn't remember, when Brigid was going to be joining us, or approached me to see about joining, I gave her shit. I really did.
Yes.
But, and I know that she will back me up on this, I did the right thing for the right reason. My whole thing was, if there's going to be a problem with you doing it, I want to know up front. And if it's going to put you into any kind of a situation where by that, and I would not change a damn thing. Because I cared way too much more about your well-being than you yelling and screaming over here and getting yourself into trouble.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's turned out the way that it has. Thank you.
Thank you.
Try one more time. Joseph, are you there that you can say goodnight or have anything to say? Because, I mean, beep beep. Okay, I'll take that as a no. All right, last item to get us out of here really quickly. It's a new year. I don't do this whole new year, new you thing. I don't put up with that anymore. I will say that there are certain parts about me that I'm finally accepting and realizing how broken I have been for 15 years. For the last 5 years, probably, in particular. I've been hurting for a very, very long time. And the last couple of years, it's fair to say that I didn't care. That's a really hard thing for me to admit to. And I know that there are people who are probably kind of going, well, you kind of knew that. No. No, you haven't. I am not making a New Year's resolution. I don't do that. And I'm not going to make a promise. I'm not going to make an oath. I am going to say, I'm going to try. I'm going to try. As much as on the inside I don't feel worthy, as much as I don't think that I am deserving of moving on, I will try. And it is not going to be an easy thing. I'm not saying this because I want you guys to do anything about it. I'm saying it because I want you guys to know that I want to try. So, for whatever that's worth, I think now's about as good a time as any to go ahead and get our collective tukuses out of here. Brigid, thank you. As always, I wish you peace, of course, because of everything going on. And you have yourself a restful evening. And, well, I was going to say, stay warm, but the way things are going right now, I don't think there's much of a choice in that matter right now for you.
Yeah, it's just really, really humid. Yuck. Well, if anybody wants to find me, you can send me a friend request on Facebook under Brigid Fitch 10. I think it's 10. I'll be on Beyond the Trailer Park Monday at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. I'm not sure exactly what the topic is going to be yet. I think that we're going to do a retro of last year, since we haven't done that yet. And You can find me on my blog at brigidfitch2112.wordpress.com.
Hang on. Joseph, are you there to at least say goodnight? No, he's not. All right, that's fine. So on Joseph's behalf, thank you everybody for being with us. Hope that you have a good week, and we'll be looking forward to see you next time. On my behalf, of course, for us all, thank you for being with us. If you would like to subscribe to the podcast so that you can get the audio version, Dalan is the one that takes care of that. Take a swing over to holycrapthevlogcast.com. The link is over on the left-hand side of the page, so you can follow that. If you want to contact us or follow us on any of the various social media, holycrapthevlogcast.com has got all the information for you over there. Plus, if you'd like to leave a voicemail message, the phone number for that is 859-HCTV-554, 859-4288-554, and we'll be back again next week. Provided that, we don't start World War III inadvertently in the meantime.
No
I know.
kidding.
I know.
That whole thing is just scary.
Yeah. We'll see what we'll end up talking about at that point. Thank you for being with us through all of this. Having a couple of weeks off has really helped me kind of recuperate myself. So thanks for putting through with all this stuff. So with that, it's time for us to go ahead and get on out of here. So folks, take care of yourselves, and most importantly, be safe. With the weird up and down with the weather, remember, even if you didn't take physics, your car does not like black ice.
No, it doesn't.
No. Don't do physics experiments with coefficient of drag and black ice. You will lose every time. Please remember that. Please be safe. So until the next time, as always, I wish you all the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. You take care of yourselves, and like I said, it is 14 and a half years later. I am still in love. Matane Fujin. I love you and I miss you. Dream of me. Till the next time we get together, everyone, as always, good night.